Good morning, dear students. The topic of our lesson is things you didn't know about space. And today we are going to use a growing range of vocabulary which is appropriate to topic and genre and which is spelled accurately. Use imagination to express thoughts, ideas, experiences, and feelings. Use appropriate subject-specific vocabulary and syntax to talk about a range of general and curricular topics. Now, answer the question, please. What do you know about space? What interesting facts about space do you know? And now, prepare your copybooks and pens. Let's learn new words and their definitions. You should make notes. Atmosphere is a layer of gas or layers of gases that envelope a planet. Surface is the outermost or uppermost layer of a physical object or space. Star is an astronomical object comprising a luminous spheroid of plasma held together by its gravity. Dwarf, unusually small stature or size. Particle is a small localized object to which can be ascribed several physical or chemical properties. Wave is propagation of disturbances from place to place in a regular and organized way. Solar system is a gravitationally bound of the Sun and the objects that orbit it. And the last word is a telescope. Is a device used to form magnified images of distant objects. Well, let's do the first task using our new vocabulary. Open your students' books. Page number 97, exercise 1A. Fill in atmosphere, surface, stars, radio, dwarf, particles, waves, solar, telescopes. I'll give you 4 minutes to do this task. And now, let's watch a video about space facts. Listen carefully and check your answers.
Space facts. How much do you know about outer space? Let's take a look at some interesting space facts. There is no sound in space because there are no particles for sound waves to travel through. However, astronauts can communicate thanks to radio waves. The footprints of the astronauts will stay on the moon's surface for at least 100 million years. This is because the moon has no atmosphere, so there's no wind or water to wash them away. Stars, like our Sun, give light and warmth to planets like ours. As they grow older, they get hotter and expand, pulling the planets nearby towards them and eventually swallowing them completely. This may happen to Earth, but not for another 5 billion years or so. The dwarf planet Pluto lies in a dark and mysterious place in our solar system and was named by an 11-year-old girl called Venetia Burney in 1930. She had read about Greek and Roman mythology, and she thought of calling it Pluto. The red spot on Jupiter is a giant storm with winds reaching 640 kilometers per hour. It's been there since people first looked at Jupiter through telescopes around 400 years ago. Did you know any of the facts already? What else do you know about space?
You can check yourself one more time if you need. Task number 2. Answer these questions. How many planets are there in the solar system? Name them. What interesting facts about space and planets do you know? What films about space have you watched? Can you recommend them and why? Watch a video about the moon and then you'll do the task.
Let me take you back to the earliest days of our planet, 4.5 billion years ago. At this time, the Earth had no moon. It was orbiting the sun alone, and it was being assaulted by rocks and comets. Today, there are no scars left from this cosmic pinball. But to get a sense of the damage that was done, I've come to the Arizona desert, to a great hole in the ground.
This is a beautiful crater. A near-perfect circle, a mile in diameter. It was formed when a meteor crashed into the Earth a mere 50,000 years ago. That's nothing on the timescale that we're talking about. But it's amazing how much damage that one passing rock can cause. The early Earth was bombarded with rocks. It must have been mayhem. And then along came something much, much bigger.
Another planet, the size of Mars, drifted into the path of Earth. It was on a collision course.
It hit the young Earth with a glancing blow. Imagine the power released by such a collision.
The impact sent a mass of liquid rock into orbit. This debris coalesced into a ball, and the moon was formed, just 14,000 miles away from the early Earth. This was the closest point it could have been. Any closer, and gravity would have pulled the debris crashing back to Earth, and there'd be no moon. Today, the moon is just a rock, reflecting the sun's light. But back then, it was a molten sphere burning brightly. It must have looked amazing, an enormous orange disk in the sky. Imagine the sea, the first moonrise over the early Earth. Our world was no longer alone. It had a huge, powerful neighbour. And ever since, this has been a very different type of planet.
Task number 3. Read the events and put them in the correct order. Check yourself. I hope your answers are right. And let's do the reflection. You should think about or write down 3 things you've learned today, 2 things you found interesting, and 1 question you still have. Your home task is over to you at the page number 97 on your student's book. Answer the questions in written form. Which 2 facts about space impressed you the most and why? What else would you like to know about space? I hope the lesson was interesting for you. Goodbye.